Hi, Whiskey Squirrelers. This is Whiskey Whistle. I'm your host, Mark, and welcome to Glenmorangie Week, day number 3. Day number 3, yes it is, day number 3. This is Glenmorangie Milsean. Glenmorangie, a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. And look at the candy stripes on this bottle. What's with that, eh? Gorgeous packaging, very nice bottle. This is their private edition for 2016. And I'll go ahead and get that poured right now. There we go. Ooh, oh, that was a bit heavy. Oh my. Okay, good, no drips. So yes, their limited edition, their private edition for this year. And every year what happens is Dr. Bill Lumsden, he is the director of Whisky and creator of, what is it? I forget his title there. It's on here somewhere. Yes, director of Whisky Creation and Distilling. There it is. So every year he does something different. And this year what he's done is he's taken some wine casks that have previously held and matured wine, and then he's toasted them with the wine still in the wood, rather than scraping. So what they'll do is many distilleries will scrape out the wood that has been affected by whatever it was maturing before, and then re-char it. So rather than that, he's charred the barrels with the wine intact inside the wood. Okay, so you can imagine the wood on the inside being very wet from the wine, and then getting a nice char from the charring process where they throw flames at it. So what will happen is that that wine, the wine that has been has affected the wood, will add some sugar content to the wood. And so then the wood, in fact, will have a little bit more caramelization of the sugars. Wood naturally has sugar in it. That's one of the reasons why it burns. But also you think about tree sap, what that is. So even the cellulose fibers contain some sugars, even more so when you've got that wine content. Okay. Color-wise, let me just show that to you. Quite a deep shade here, so I don't know if you can get a good sense of that. I think you can. Again, this is a little bit beyond just gold and a little bit more towards perhaps a coppery color. And again, this is a limited edition. The private edition comes every year and then it's gone. They only make it once. So I don't think they have to worry so much about colorant. I doubt there's any in here. Now, it's also unchill filtered. It's 46% ABV. And you won't find it on the bottle, but right here on the packaging is where it tells you it's non-chill filtered. Okay, so 46% ABV, quite high for a big distillery. They typically tend to deal with the 40 and 43 percentile. Okay, let's get on to the nosing for that one. Glenmorangie Milsean, I'm really excited about that. It's been a while since I've done their private edition. The last one was To Sail, which was the 2015. Anyway, we'll have a very short advertisement right here. Okay, welcome back, Glenmorangie Milsean. Certainly a sweet nose, but oddly enough, again, there's something almost rye-like here. There's a mintiness to it. My guess would be that the wine casks were made of American oak, and the reason I say that is that because European oak is more dear, they would have mentioned European oak had it been from European oak. And furthermore, Glenmorangie owns their own forest full of farmed oak, So why would they go to that expense unless they really wanted to? So I have a feeling that that would be American oak, and then matured wine for a period of time, and then flamed, as I mentioned, before the new make. No, not the new make. Before, as a finishing process, before the fully matured Glenmorangie, which would have been about 10 years old, plus or minus, went into these charred wine casks. How do they call it exactly? Re-toasted wine casks. Okay. Yep, so some a mintiness to it, very spicy. A little bit of floral, kind of a floral hint. And it's a little bit sharp because of the strong ABV. So if that is unappealing to you, just add a little bit of water, okay? Your nose will get used to it though. And you'll find a little bit of wine, kind of an essence to it as well. That's what I wrote here, slight wine essence. And then some baking spices. The cinnamons and gingers and so on. Clove, a little bit of clove maybe. Okay, let's get on to the palate. And by the way, congratulations to Dr. Bill Lumsden for winning the 2016, I think it's Distiller of the Year, I believe. Okay, cheers. Spiciness and sweetness stuck together. So I write here big spice, big sweet, and for 46% ABV, it's very warming on the palate. It's not sharp. Again, very juicy. There is a little bit of licorice that will come through with time. Once you let that sit for a little while, let's say 15 minutes or so. And the finish, that's better. Quite spicy. Apricot, yes, so apricot there. Some sweet jam. Something else I can't read. I gotta learn to write a little bit more clearly. My goodness. Almondine, that's what it says. Almondine. Some almond, cinnamon, and some ginger candy. When you give it more time, you'll get more licorice, not only in the palate, in the taste, but also the aftertaste will be much more licorice-like. And what I wrote here was long licorice finish, Twizzlers, licorice pipes, with the little red little candy bits at the end. Licorice chalk. So it looks like chalk. It looks like a piece of chalk, and then inside it's got the black licorice in there. And I'm still tasting that licorice flavor. Now it really tastes like, after a while, it tastes like licorice root. So the straight root, if you've ever had it, or maybe licorice tea, which is made from licorice root, it has that sweet, slightly, it's like sweetness but without the sugar. Anyway, so licorice extract or a licorice root, licorice tea kind of an effect is left in your mouth. Okay, so did we add water yet? I don't think I did. Let's do that. Be a little bit generous this time. This is a little bit stronger than the other two, so I can add a little bit more. Plus I had a little bit more to start with. That should be good. Now I do not want to tell you what time it is. It's very, very late. And in fact, the Tane, the Tarlogan, and this one have all been recorded in the same night. Likewise will the La Santa be very shortly. And for you, that'll appear a couple of days later. Maybe the very next day, in fact. I think I'll probably do Monday to Friday for that week. Glenmorangie week. Which will be not the current week. I won't tell you the day it is. It's actually Saturday, November 12th. So this will come not next week, but the week following. Oh, really gets quite fresh, quite juicy, quite sweet with water added. And that rye-like scent is largely gone. It's very akin to some of the very sweet bourbon noses in terms of the strength of sweetness. Okay, let's get on to, we'll talk more about the nose. We'll have a very short advertisement right here. Welcome back. Milsean with water. Yes, much, much sweeter. Some caramel and vanilla coming through. A little bit of milk chocolate. Cinnamon and ginger still there. Orange, of course, because this is Glenmorangie. Rhymes with orangey. On to, oh, what did I write here? That's interesting. More baked spice notes. Baked apple pie with raisins and a lot of cinnamon. Okay. Now, you know, you got to take your time with the whiskey. I think I mentioned that before. I would sit for an hour drinking it very slowly, smelling it very slowly, multiple times, thinking about what I'm smelling. And, you know, I can't really do that on camera. So that's why the notes are very helpful. And don't forget also, you try the same whiskey on multiple occasions and you'll get multiple different flavors that you notice from day to day. And it's not that they're not there, it's just that those molecules sometimes are not strong enough to tell you, oh, this is licorice, or oh, this is cinnamon. You'll smell it once and think, cinnamon. Then you'll smell it another time and go, licorice. So you're not crazy. It's just about those volatile scent chemicals, natural chemicals that are coming from the whole package. Okay, on to the palate. Cheers again. I didn't notice this before with this one. This also has a slight brininess to it with water. Right through to the finish. Brininess, umami, melon, yet again. I'm going to add just a drop more. That's not quite a drop. There we go. Now what I wrote here, so gentle, big sweetness. The sweetness grows and it's not dry. Licorice plum candies from Asia. Plum meaning meishu, or umeshu would be the Japanese word. So it's a green plum. Very juicy. I write like concentrated fruit. Let's see if that holds true here now. The sweetness really hits the tip of your tongue, but there's also a little bit of saltiness that I never noticed before. It was kind of like a saltwater taffy, kind of a candy. Very juicy. And the finish, it is sweeter. I wrote more sweet. So it's sweeter, more licorice. Still got some ginger candy there, and the finish is quite long, especially that licorice note. Certainly coats the mouth very nicely. And there's the apricot coming in, that peachy apricot, a little bit of orange, a little bit of almond, and then licorice carries on. Well, so that's Milsean from Glenmorangie. Let's get on to the Whiskey Whistle Whiskey score for Glenmorangie Milsean. That is going to be 87 points out of 100 for Milsean. And the nickname for this one is the Danish Sweets Shop. I used to go there as a child. When I would visit Denmark, visit my family there, we would go and get some slik. Slik means candy in Danish. That's one of the few words that I remember. Of course, licorice, lakritz, I think. Lakritz. So lakritz and slik. Anyway, we used to love going to the slik shop with my Uncle Egon, and with my cousin Yanis. Oh, and then my younger cousin, who was very little when I was there the very first time, her name is Leuke. So Leuke and Janice in English, Uncle Egon, and Tante Ina. That's my Danish family over there. And Master Kala, my great aunt Carla, and Uncle Elo. Oops, I spilled some. So that was Milsean. Thanks for tuning in. 87 points out of 100, the Danish Sweets Shop. Certainly this retoasted wine cask had a nice effect on this, bringing in some sweetness, bringing in more of that fresh oak flavor, little bit bourbon-esque, but also kind of like the Isla licorice characteristics. So if you like some of the sweeter Isla whiskeys and you want to try something that is not peated and yet still has that kind of salty licorice island sort of style, this hits it. So yeah, very nice. 87 out of 100. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for this little guy to come. Take care.